Okay, perfect. Yeah. So thank you everyone for attending. I like my name is Rahat Yasir. I'm taking this session from Montreal, Canada, and currently it's 11:30 p.m. here. I didn't know the time because of the timing was like this late, so because of the India time. But it's okay. We will try to cover the full session within 1.5 hours, and I hope it will be useful for everyone. So for AI-100, Microsoft Azure AI Engineering Certification. So for this exam, it is actually the next version of AI-900, which is like AI Fundamental. So for AI-100, which is the new version is AI-102. So you guys will find may find more challenging questions than AI 900. One of the thing I tried to put in this presentation is try to put all the contents that you will see throughout the exam, and also I have put 12 to 15 like sample questions and answers, so that after reviewing every section, we will go through those question answers together, so that it will give you guys the idea what like how the question paper will be and how you can like answer it within the defined time. So without like spending any more time, let's jump into the presentation. So today's agenda. So I will give overall overview of Azure AI. I will also talk a bit more about Azure AI engineering. What is this role and what are the skills you need for this role? We'll talk about the prerequisite of AI 100 for this exam, which is 100 and 102 are same. It's just like with the new content. What are the if there is any prerequisite content that you need to follow before jumping into the actual content, I will mention it there. There are like four different categories for AI 102 within Azure Cognitive Service. I will mention about them with some details, and also I will share some testing question and answers along with some learning resources, so that after attending this session, you will just follow up with the learning resources, and I believe there won't be any issue to pass this exam. Okay, before I jump in to the full presentation, I would like to say a few words about me and my journey. So my name is Rahat Yasir. I work at CAE as their data and AI platform architect. It's been so many years I'm working in the data and AI industry. Um, Other than that, I have also like Microsoft MVP in AI, and it's my seventh time. It's not sixth time. I made a mistake. So it's been 7 years that I'm a Microsoft MVP in AI. So yeah, so the AI ecosystem and lifecycle. So before we jump in into the direct exam content, I would like to show or talk about how the AI lifecycle works with the key personas. So this is the life cycle that looks like within an organization, where before you start to design your model, we first need to identify what do you want to design, and what is the business goal. So this is you can see the first step is by the business leaders to set the goal. Then once they set the goal, the second thing is gather and prepare the data, because we all know without data we cannot literally design anything. So yes, we can design with simulated data, but that is a different story. But in general, we need to gather the data, prepare the data first. Right after putting the in like ingesting the data, the first thing we need is our data scientists work with the data, with the raw data or different kind of like transform data, so that they can develop the ML model. While data scientists are developing their ML model, ML engineers or AI engineers works with the data scientists, so that they can give them the support that they need. They can implement all the ML ops within within the domain, and also they can create the different environments, different like best software engineering best practices as well. And the moment data scientists are done with the with developing the AI model, ML engineers are the one they continue working on it to deploy the model, to like expose them, host the model, in the production environment to host the model as a RESTful API or some kind of like batch processing. And they work with the app developers to expose the model for mobile, web, or that kind of apps so that the client side application can actually use it. And the last part is model monitoring. After putting the model, you need to monitor the model, whether the model is generating real result or not, whether it's useful or not, those things. And during that phase, data scientists also work with ML engineers so that they can identify those patterns of data drifting, any kind of like model performance. They identify all the most impactful features from the training set and then create some kind of like skew or visualization of those training data so that when a new data arrives, they can make a match whether the new data is drifting or not, those stuff. And throughout this operation, IT operations are always involved. So you can see ML engineers are the one or AI engineers are the one who involves from the model development phase and stays till the end of the pod process. So that's what AI and machine learning a life cycle looks like with all the required key personas. Now, as an AI engineer, because you guys, this AI 100 or 102 exam is for AI engineering. So you guys will see what are the contents you will learn in this session. So for Azure AI engineering exam, there are like all the questions are divided into 5 different segments. One is plan and manage Azure cognitive service solution. One is second one is implementing computer vision solution. Third one is natural language processing solution. Fourth one is implementing knowledge mining solution. Fifth one is conversational AI or Lewis or Q&A, that kind solution. So this exam doesn't have any lab, but you will get questions regarding some programming questions, very basic, nothing like complex, but most of them will be related to those 5 topics: how to use those APIs, how to call them. There are like different theories, like you need to like go through what kind of image format or file format that suppose form recognizer supports, what are the steps of Q&A, developing a Q&A maker, that kind of question. So you will go through them, and we will also like cover a few of them today so that you get the idea, overall idea, how to prepare yourself. And to prepare, I will also mention this slide, this link at the end. But you will have to I will recommend you to go to this AI 102 exam certification training content, and you will see all the theories in details so that with the labs, so that you can practice them, try them. And there are a bunch of like quiz contest or similar questions are there as well. And I have also used some of the quick quiz contest content from the official Microsoft site. So you will see. So during the presentation, I have put 12 or 15 Q&A. So I will expect from everyone like to participate. So you can either answer it or you can just like write it on the chat so that I will monitor and I will see. So the first step. So first step of like preparing for the AI 102 or AI 100 exam is reviewing AI 900. So last November with Azure India, we hosted this another session for AI 900, and which is Microsoft Azure AI Fundamental. And it was a big a success, I believe, because almost 18,000 to 20,000 people have already viewed this show, viewed this content. And if I'm not wrong, I have received personal message from at least 200 to 300 people that after seeing this video and attending reviewing the things that we shared, all of them have passed this exam. So from that point of view, it was a big success. So this is the first, during the 100 exam, you will see some of the questions coming from AI 900. So I will recommend you, before jumping into AI 100, take a look at AI 900. You don't need to go through full 1 hour 17 minutes. Just fast forward, double or triple in pace, and then just see what kind of contents are there. The demo that I have showed. So that will give you the full idea. And in this AI 900, there were 5 topics I have covered. First one is machine learning. Second one is anomaly detection. Third one is computer vision, then natural language processing, and then like conversational AI. So during the like machine learning and other like cases, so mostly I have showed what kind of like machine learning model you can design, the algorithm, similar type of like what is anomaly detection, why we use it, different use cases of computer vision based application designing, conversational AI within Azure, how to design it, those things, and several aspects of natural language processing as well. So like once you go through it, it will be easier for you. Now let's get into AI-100, the learning path. What kind of questions you will get or you can expect from AI-100? So there are like five types of questions you can expect. First one is how to provision and manage AI Azure Cognitive Service. So some question regarding how to use it, how to access it, what are the security components regarding that, and what are the things that Azure Cognitive Service have. Then you will see questions regarding translate speech and text. You will see questions regarding conversational AI, Q&A maker, Lewis, language understanding service, computer vision solution, and implement knowledge mining. So if we go into details, so every we will get into details for each section and then try out some like a question and answer. So the first one is provisioning and managing cognitive service. So I believe like you guys know that cognitive service is a part of Azure AI. So within the Azure AI ecosystem, there is cognitive service, there is Azure machine learning, and within Azure machine learning, you have notebook, you have designer, you also have AutoML. And along with that, there are lots of like options for Azure Compute, for a training and inferencing cluster, like Azure, AML testing, like using ACI or AKS. There are options for data annotation. There are also there are some tools as well, like bot framework, Q&A maker, like custom vision, like that. So all of them are the part of Azure AI. So for the first one, which is cognitive service, it has four different sections. First one is language, second one is speech, vision, decision. So within cognitive service, you will see applications on text analytics, translator, Q&A maker, language understanding. Same with speech, vision, and decision making. So one question you can ask: so why Microsoft is designing those cognitive service, and those are what are they? So what Microsoft did, so they know what are the common use cases of AI regarding language, speech, vision, decision, and to help all the developers and the market, and also to democratize AI. So instead of letting people design their AI model from scratch, Microsoft collected the data by themselves. They have trained the model themselves, and they have also hosted the model. The only thing that as a developer or as a business owner that you will have to do is you will just use SDK or a RESTful API to use those services. So you won't have to do the training, you won't have to collect the data, and all those like optimization, resource allocation, computation, everything is managed and hosted within Azure by Microsoft. So that is a great help to make your like web application or mobile application more intelligent, and also giving the flavor of AI. So outside of this, like all the like four criteria and like all the sub criteria, there are a few other segments that covers within Azure Cognitive Service. One is Azure Form Recognizer, so which is an optical character based solution, which if you like all the invoice or different kind of like official documents that we see, we can take a photo of that on our PDF and upload it within Form Recognizer. Form Recognizer convert it from image or PDF to text with also like forms and proper formats as well. And you can use like existing pre-trained model, or even you can use retrain your own custom form recognizer. There are Azure Metric Advisor, which is a service built on anomaly detector cognitive service that simplifies real-time monitoring. So you can ask like, what kind of anomaly detector? Suppose you are doing all the banking transaction, and every day for some reason you spend $5 or $10. All of a sudden, yesterday you have spent $500. So what anomaly detection does is it looks at all the spending and it finds out any kind of like unusual pattern anomaly, and you can just like take the time series or the data that you have, send it to Azure Metric Advisor or anomaly detector. It will analyze the data and it will tell you, hey, there is anomaly in this data and this is the anomaly about. And you won't even have to write the code, all the pattern and everything for AI anomaly detection. Then there is Azure Video Analyzer for media. So if you can use a video analyzer in multiple ways, so you can just directly upload the video that you have to Video Analyzer. It like processes every single frame and identify if there is any human or not. It also generates all the caption, what kind of content within the video that you have, and also if there is any celebrity or what is the language of the video. All those things are analyzed by the video analyzer, and after doing the first processing, you get a like a frame by frame report by the video analyzer. Then we have Azure Immersive Reader, which is a reading solution that supports people of all age and ability. We have Azure Bot Service that through which you can create different kind of like chat bot, speech bot, or something like that, and host it and publish it in different channels like Facebook Messenger or Slack or even Teams. And then we have cognitive search, which is a cloud-based search service, so that you can get a lot of information from data, document, and other cases. So these are the services of Azure Cognitive Service, like all the categories and subcategories. So you will get questions regarding those categories and subcategories, how to use it, and also all the basics. So if we go a bit detail, so in most of the cases, the most common ways of using Azure Cognitive Service is using RESTful API. There are few cognitive services that also supports container, where you can host the like cognitive service in a container instance and then connect it with your application. Or you can also like use SDK for cognitive service to embed it with your .NET or Python or that kind of application, web application, to consume a service. This is one way of using cognitive service. Second way is, before you jump into use like all those like text analytics, speech analytics, there are certain thing requirements you need to follow. You need to have an Azure subscription. You will, when you create those subscription, you are also getting the endpoints, creating an endpoints for each text analytics, speech analytics subscription. So it is necessary. You will also get keys, authentication keys of each like each categories like text analytics, speech analytics, so that you can call that endpoint with the keys and you can use it. And one of the most important part of this like requirement is of using government services location. You need to mention which location or region you are using. It could be India, it could be Canada Central, it could be US. Not all location have all the cognitive services. You will have to check before you start to like do your development. So the third one is single resource endpoint for multiple services using single set of access credential. So when you like create one cognitive service service, you also provide your access credential. So if you're designing an application where you are just using text processing, then you creating a single like service. Okay, that is good. But when you are and that single service is working with a single set of access credential. But when you are creating an application where you need text analytics, you need speech processing, you need like Q&A maker or something like knowledge like base, all of them together. In that case, if you use different like access credential, different services, that is a lot of things to manage. So with Microsoft Azure Cognitive Service, there are option where from a single resource endpoint, you can use multiple services like text analytics, speech, both at the same time from single endpoint. Then we have language support from the SDK. You need for RESTful API, it's just like sending JSON, getting the response, most of the cases, the same thing. But for the language support, what kind of languages you can use and like to embed those cognitive service based features. Top one is obviously C Sharp, which is .NET. Then we have Python, JavaScript, Go, and Java. These are the like most common language support for provisioning and managing cognitive service. So when you create those cognitive service and use them, one of the thing you need to know that you are sending user data, using user data to find out those speech to text, translation, facial recognition, those. So security is very important in that case. So there are certain amount of like security that you get by default from cognitive service. First one is authentication keys, which every single a resource endpoint that you create, you get an authentication key. You can store that authentication key with in a key vault and then use it. You can also implement token-based authentication where the token gets expired every 10 minutes so that you will have to do authentication, talk to the host or to get a new key every 10 minutes to use the service. Or you can also use Azure Access Directory-based authentication. And if you want to make it more secure, then you can use network access restriction to specific IPs. So suppose if you have created like a facial recognition based like cognitive service, so you have the endpoint. You can also like peer it with certain amount of like private endpoint or some kind of like specific IP ranges, so that only those IPs will be able to access that resource or communicate with that resource. Any other IP outside of that won't be able to do that. And any other IP, when trying to communicate, even if they somehow manage the authentication key, they will get an access deny like a response. And the last one is monitoring, which is cost alert. When you are creating those services, you need to know how much costing you're having. There are two types of services we get. One is free tier, and one is which is F. Another one is paid tier. If I'm not wrong, it's T. So you will have to see there are some limitation in the free tier, but for certain amount of testing those services, you can use them. So when you create them, you get the cost within the dashboard. You can create alert with a different kind of like alert rule. Like if the cost of this individual endpoint or service goes above $200, it will automatically create a trigger so that you get an email or some kind of notification. Or even you can create a custom dashboard within using Azure component to host all the cognitive service metrics in one dashboard so that you can get the full visual representation. So those are the basics of provisioning and managing cognitive service, from hosting it to language support to security to requirements and how to use it, along with the monitoring and dashboard. You will get a lot of questions regarding this top six topic and subtopic in your AI-100 exam. Now, the thing is, as I said at the beginning of the session, that I won't just like present all the content. I will present some content and I will ask some question so that the session becomes more interactive. So you can give the answer in the chat, or you can just tell me. That's it. I will accept both. So now the first question is, how are client applications typically granted access to a cognitive service endpoint? So there are three options. First one is the application must specify a valid subscription key for the Azure resource. The user of the application must enter a username and password associated with the Azure subscription. Access to cognitive service is granted to anonymous users by default. Can anyone tell me what is the answer? You guys can unmute and answer. And it's okay if you are wrong.
I think the first one.
You think it's the first one. Any other choice? Anyone else? One. Okay, let's see. Yes, this is the first one. So the application must specify a valid subscription key for the Azure resource to get access to this cognitive service endpoint. So that's good. Everyone is correct. Now the second question. you need to regenerate the primary subscription key for a cognitive service resource that an app uses. Okay, what should you do for us to minimize service interruption for the app? So just to mention, every time we create some resource within cognitive service, we get two keys. One is primary key, one is a secondary key. So now the thing is, you will have to regenerate the primary key, regenerate the primary subscription key, yes, for a service that app is currently using and it is live. So some people are already answering it, which is one. So switch the app to use the secondary key, or change the resource endpoint, or enable firewall. Let's see the answer. Perfect. Switch the app to use the secondary key, so that there won't be any interruption for the app, and the app will be able to use it. Perfect. So this is, I'm really happy that everyone is participating, and that's how I wanted actually, so that we get the vibe together, what kind of questions you're gonna get for all those like individual segment. Because to be honest, within 1 hour, it is literally impossible to cover all the content with all the demo. Usually there are like lots of other video content in YouTube and other places where they cover 5 to 10 hours. But today, what we want to do, that we want to see what kind of questions we get and what are the learning material we need to follow to pass this exam. And I will cover all the basic segment. So now the second part is translate speech and text. So within this translate speech and text, there are two sections. One is text analysis, one is speech processing. So let's take a look at the key stuff of the text analysis. So within the text analysis, what we do is, if either we upload a document, or we upload a phrase or a text, or that is a content within a JSON to cognitive service, and cognitive service do a bunch of stuff. So what it does, it detects the language, determine the language in which text is written. Key phrase extraction, so it automatically identify important words from that single sentence, and then it mention or identify and point out them. Do sentiment analysis of this sentence. So it doesn't do sentiment analysis based on words. It analyzes each and every word, but it quantifies them. But it tells you, give you the answer based on the sentence. The fourth one is named entity. Suppose there is any people, celebrity, location, name, time period, organization. So name entity give you that kind of suggestion. And the fifth one is, if cognitive service has detected any kind of named entity, it also like links any kind of like Wikipedia article or link with that one. So something like that. Every time you're uploading the document, you're getting to know the language, the key phrases, the entities, and also the sentiment. Now, the question is, how many languages it supports? So from the language support, it supports 120 languages. It works with two types of, as I said already, one is document, and the document needs to be less than 5,120 character, or it's phrases, which is within the JSON, you can send text or passage or paragraph or something like that. It even supports a mixed language. You can send a passage or paragraph with multiple language. And what text analysis will do is, it will try to find out which one is the dominant language within this passage, and it will tell you 0.80 or 80% of the content for this passage are English or Spanish or French. But it doesn't mention, I didn't notice it when I used it, the secondary or third or fourth languages. And for the sentiment analysis, it mostly positive, negative, neutral, these three. And yeah, it does also some kind of translation. So text to text translation from one language, or even you can do text to text multi-language translation. So what you can do is, you will send the JSON request where you're mentioning your text, and also you will just mention two uh, French or Spanish, ES or FR. So what it will do is, it will check the text. It will process what is the language it is in. If it is in English, then it will check any other parameter. If there is parameter 2, so it by default it considers from is the actual English, then the 2 is French or Spanish or something like that. So these are the main context of text analysis. And then there is speech processing. So the which is like the second side. Within the speech processing, there are like 5 different segments, which is speech to text. Cognitive service you can use the API to enable the speech recognition, in which your application can accept spoken input. It will take audio and convert it to speech to text. You can even use text to speech. You can do speech to speech translation. So we all, like in the past, we have seen applications where we send the audio is translated into text, and then the text is translated from English to French, and the French text is spoken by some kind of like synthetic voice, so which is text to speech. But now with cognitive service, it can automatically convert the speech like from one language to another language, or even one language to multiple language. It can also detect speaker recognition, but for that one, you will have to use some training data to train the speaker voice. And the fifth one is intent recognition. So what is the intent of this individual uttering, or what you're saying, those things. So it can accept different type of audio format, like a different type of audio file, WAV, MP3. It with different sample rate and bit depth as well. And when we talk about like text to speech or speech translation, so your question could be, so if I send some kind of like audio file where it is my voice, so the speech translation from English to Chinese, is it going to be my voice or in Chinese? No, actually, unfortunately. So it will be, there are like 2 options. One is standard synthetic voice, which is already created. It's a very standard, the way we see
Rahat,
those.
you're on mute, I believe. You've gone on mute. You're
Uh,
not. Yes, now it's fine.
okay, yes, I guess I was not mute. Maybe there was some interruption. Okay, so
Yeah,
standard
we
synthetic.
can hear you, I think. Yeah,
Okay,
Rahat
perfect.
is
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
we
so much.
can also.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So it's a standard synthetic voice that you can use, or the neural natural sound. So this is the standard synthetic one, is the regular computer voice or robotic voice that we usually hear. But the second one is natural language, natural sound. It uses deep neural network to like synthesize or use real voice, so that it sounds more natural and real. Okay, these are the like high level content of like translate speech and text for text analysis and speech processing. And also within this speech processing, you can use sentiment analysis and others. Now the question is, okay, what kind of questions we may get? So again, I will expect answers from everyone. How should you create an application that monitors the comments on your company's website and flags any negative post? So this falls under text analysis. So the first clue is use the text analytics service to extract key phrases to find out those negative comments, or use the text analytics service to perform sentiment analysis of the comments, or the third one is use the text analysis analytics service to extract named entities from the comments.
The second option, I think.
Perfect.
Number
Let's
two.
see.
Second.
That is nice. So I'm getting a lot of like answers, and that's actual answer is 2. Use the text analytics service to perform sentiment analysis of the comments. So as you're getting a lot of text, so first you're sending it to text analytics. If text analytics find it positive, so send it to a positive bucket. If it is find neutral. If it is negative, it will send it to a, suppose, queue storage or something like that, or negative bucket, so that later someone from the organization can dig it and check it and like do like a follow up. Then the second one is what function of the translator service should you use to convert the Chinese word, I don't even know what is it, to the English word hello? So what kind of translate like service we will use? Detect, translate, or transliterate? Okay, I'm getting a lot of answers for number two. It's translate. So we get similar questions in our exam. So that those could be a bit more tricky, but it's something like that. So now it's the third segment, which is like Louis language, like where I will talk about Louis Q&A, language understanding Q&A maker. So in 4 slides, I will try to give the full gist of all those like components, so that we will again do same kind of like exercise for all four. And just to let you know, I am trying to give you guys the full high level idea. Later, when you like, I will also like share some like resources, so that when you follow up with those resources, it will be easier for you to follow up and like get all the detailed information. So suppose look at this one. Here we have some kind of like application or conversation is happening. We are sending it to a backend or app, and then from the app or backend, we are sending it to a some kind of like cloud for processing back and forth. So this is actually a simple sample context of Louis language understanding model. So what happens? An app accepts natural language input from a user. So this is what is happening. A language model is used to determine semantic meaning, the user's intent. When reads it, it tries to find out what is the intent, what the user is trying to say, and then based on the AI model, it like find out what it is or what the user is trying to express, and tell the user, hey, hey, this is the appropriate response of your request. So in this Lewis, there are like more like three terminology we need to understand. One is intent, one is utterance, and another one is entities. So these are like you will get a lot of questions regarding these three, I believe. So what is intent? An intent represents a task or action the user wants to perform, or more simply, the meaning of an utterance. If I'm saying turn off the light, so that is like a one full sentence, and from within that one, when my Alexa or some kind of like AI model is identifying turn off light, this is the intent. Like turning that's where like it can identify or redirect to the right function to take the required like necessary step. So this is the intent, the what the task or action users wants to perform. Second one is utterance. Utterance are the phrases that a user might enter when interacting with an application that uses your language understanding model. So utterance is the one that I just said, turn off the light or switch the TV off. And the third one is entities. So entities are the one that has name or something custom like trained, or some kind of like list that you can provide of location, or like some kind of like entity, some kind of like object. So if we see some example, like one example, if you say switch the TV off to your Alexa or Cortana, that kind of application, the this will be the utterance, what you're saying, and the intent of this utterance will be it is automatically mapped that this should be turn off device, and the entity will be it will find out the device, which is the TV, because that's what you have mentioned. So you will get questions regarding utterance, intent, device, where you will get a full sentence, and it will ask you which one is utterance, which one is intent, which one is entity. So this is the Lewis operation. The second one is Q&A. I believe a lot of people have used a bot, a different kind of like chat bot, and it is a similar thing of chatbot. So what it does for a Q&A solution, suppose something like that. Uh, like when we ask into it like a chatbot, how can I cancel a reservation? And the chatbot takes the input, analyzes that, and then it replies with the cancellation policies depend on the type of reservation, like option one or option two. And also, if you click option two, flight cancellation, it takes you to cancel a flight. This is the process you need to go through. So this is a Q&A process. We also see a lot of like web pages or websites that has frequent ask question. FAQ. So it is similar to FAQ, the Q&A. A lot of times, instead of like letting your like users like checking all the necessary answers, frequent asked question to a fact page, these days people are just putting a small Q&A solution or a small bot application in your web application, so that the thing that people does with FAQ, they do the same thing using a Q&A solution. So the first step is to create a knowledge base of chit chat, knowledge base of question answer. Now you can ask, what is a knowledge base? Knowledge base is something very simple. All those like questions and answers you have in the frequent asked questions of your website, that is the knowledge base. You can directly upload it so that that will be used by the Q&A solution, and that will be processed, that will be managed, and that will be properly the hierarchy will follow. Just like that, when you will ask cancel reservation, it will send you all the answers that you have already mentioned within your like FAQ. So Q&A Maker works with the language understanding, which is Lewis, because as you can see, you can ask 10 types of questions. The Q&A Maker needs to take the question, understand the intent, the utterance, the entities, and based on the intent, it needs to redirect the like the question or answer or the Q&A Maker to the right path, like path to cancel reservation, path to booking, path to like talking to an agent, something like that. So that's why you need to use Lewis language understanding for usage pattern, query processing, response, and client logic. Um, and also like Q&A makes like knowledge-based works for Q&A MakerBot, as I have already mentioned. And there are like multiple ways of creating Q&A solution. One is using Azure portal. Another one is creating using SDK, or even you will use from a usage perspective communication channel, but to develop it you will have to use like portal or SDK in most of the cases, or API. Like if you have already developed it, you can expose the Q&A solution through a RESTful API, so that from your web application you will just make a RESTful API call, you will get the request and response just like this, what is in the on the right. Okay, the third one is conversational AI. So conversational AI is similar to a bot framework like Q&A Maker, but it is not just frequent ask question. It is something more than that. It will somehow guide the user towards what they want, what is the actual intent. So like this, if you look at the scenario at the right, you're asking how can I help? How can I help? So in the conversational AI, the if you have used this kind of bot, you will see the bot is the one who is asking the question first. Boom, you get a question, and then you will send the like a response or the answer. I want to order a pizza. So then you can see the bot is taking the decision based, and it's also giving you different kind of suggestion too, that whole pizza slices, that kind of options. You can select it, customize or something like that. So it is kind of like a guiding, like it follows some kind of guiding principle to guide the user where the user wants to be, or where the operation that they want to operate. So it uses conversational, it uses bot framework, and some of the usage of bot framework are customer support for product or services, reservation system for restaurants, airlines, cinemas, and other cases, healthcare consultation and self-diagnosis, home automation, and personal digital assistants. So conversational AI and Q&A Maker are similar, but not the same thing. Where in the Q&A Maker, you are just using frequent asked question, similar answer. It's always in pair. But in conversational AI, it is more different. You can guide the user in different path, and it doesn't need to be same. It needs to follow some kind of pattern. You can use both portal and SDK to create like bot framework, and you can deploy that bot in multiple channels. There are like lots of channels actually, like Slack, Teams, Messenger, something like that. And one of the thing I just keep it in your mind that the dialogue that is happening here throughout this process the dialog adaptability is implemented using bot framework composer. So this kind of like stories are actually developed by bot framework composer, but all the tooling, the deployment, all the individual process, question and answer, you will use bot framework. Okay, now the fourth part, which is knowledge mining. So this is the fourth part, and out of all the sections of this exam, I felt this is the toughest one as well. And 15 to 20% of the questions will come from this side. And if you want my suggestion, I will recommend you to spend a bit more extra time on this section, because you may find some kind of like a bit complex and tricky questions. So what knowledge mining does is, this is the knowledge mining where it uses AI, it uses different kind of data, and also with like data and AI, so that as a user you can do different kind of searching for different kind of like information. So knowledge mining is a cloud-based solution for indexing and querying a wide range of data sources and creating comprehensive and high-skill search solution. And the search solution is not just one database. It is kind of like combining different kind of data sources with the AI. So in general, we just see data query or data search, but it is data search with AI. So that's why you can see index documents and data from a range of sources. You first index them out, like it's like a scanning them and then index them. You use cognitive skills to enrich the index data. The data that you have indexed, then you use cognitive skill to find out different pattern. If it is image, you identify the caption. If it is text, you find out the language, the text type, the and also sentiment. So that kind. So that from the search section, you can easily search anything. Suppose if you have an option, like you have a data source, blob storage with 10 images, and those 10 images are images of mountain, sea, like something like that. So if you use a knowledge mining, what it will do, it will upload like connected with the database of blob storage. It will go through, scan all the images, all the files, and it will generate the caption of those images. Like this is the image of mountain, this is the image of sea, this is the image of sea beach, and it will store like all the information in proper hierarchy. So from a user point of view, when you're searching, give me all the image of mountain, it has all the caption. It just do those queries and text processing to find out all the necessary like information for you, and you will see full information. If you ask like what are the data that it supports blob storage, tables like SQL, and also Cosmos DB. For blob storage are mostly images or JSON or text or something like that. SQL is SQL, you know that. And for Cosmos DB, it's mostly document databases or JSON kind of approach. Then an AI skill checks language, as I have already said, key phrases, sentiment, entity, caption, custom info to prepare the index so that the user can search it properly. And a few of the things I just want to mention this side, which is the indexes are configured based on unique key. All those index that you get after doing the scanning and doing the cognitive skill based processing, all of them gets the unique key, searchable criteria, filterable criteria, sortable criteria, facet table, retrieval and configure like retrieval as well as a configuration. So when you dig more, you will see more details. Just you like I can take like few hours of session just in like knowledge mining. It's that big of a topic. And the last one is Azure Cognitive Search REST API or SDK. You will have to use REST API or SDKs to use the search for knowledge mining. So I have seen like there were some questions, but I will answer them at the end because still a lot of like contents to follow. Now the time for again question and answer. I will expect from everyone to answer them. So okay, the first one. You are creating an index that includes a field named modified date. You want to ensure that the modified date field can be included in search result. Which attribute must you apply to the modified date field in the index definition? So as you said in the past that there are a bunch of attributes like unique key, searchable criteria, filterable, sortable, pasteable, and retrievable. So there are three options we have: searchable, filterable, and retrievable.
Searchable. First
Second.
one.
Okay, some people say searchable, some people say filterable. Any other question? Any other answer? Some say three. So this is interesting because everyone is getting divided between one and three. So the actual answer is retrievable. So that's why I said if you get if like this, like the questions could be trickier in this section. So you spend a bit extra time. So why retrievable? It's because when you set up the modified date is a date entity, and on the like when you set the configuration retrievable. So based on the way knowledge mining works, when you are searching it with the I want to search based on this date with the filter or like configuration of retrievable, it brings all the data of modified date. And when you play with it, you will see like all the criteria. The next one is how do we define conversational AI? So this should be an easy one. So the ability to predict what the user will ask next and cache a response, or automatic correction of grammar in the user phrases, or a term used to describe solutions where AI agents participate in conversation with humans, which is conversational AI. A lot of people are saying three. So now let's see. It is three. So it is conversational AI, which has AI agent to have the conversation. Now the seven one, which is which element of dialogue formulates output that the bot sends to the user. So bot creates some kind of dialogue and send it to the user as a response. So do we call it trigger? Do we call it recognizer, or do we call it language generator? So it is the response of the bot that they generate based on the request they receive. It's again interesting because we got one, two, three, all the like options as answers, but most of them are one. If we see the answer, it's language generator because the request you're receiving, the bot is processing it. Yes, like a bunch of like set is already ready, but based on the process, it is creating its response, and it is called language generator. If it was just a trigger of response, then it would have been trigger. And if it was just recognizing or doing some text analysis and processing, it would have like followed under recognizer. Eighth one, you want to create a knowledge base from an existing frequent asked question document for Q&A. What should you do? Create an empty knowledge base and manually enter the FAQ questions and answers. Create a new knowledge base importing the existing FAQ document, or create a new knowledge base selecting only the professional chit chat source. Everyone is saying number two. If we see, it is number two. You won't have to like manually input them. You can just upload the document. Voila, done. It will automatically take care of it. And now we're in the last fourth part of our like AI-100 presentation, which is the computer vision solution. For computer vision, there are like few parts that falls under this criteria. One is face recognition. One is computer vision like based API. One is and within this computer vision and face, you will see identifying face, age, detecting face, uh, detecting gender, identifying different kind of doing different kind of like image processing, like generating thumbnail or creating caption, all of them, or even using custom vision tool to create some kind of like object recognition or image classification also falls under that one. So if we just like take a look at quickly what are the like like options are there. One is description and tag generation. Based on images, you can create a description or tag or caption. You can do object detection of images, whether there is apple in the image or not, or what kind of objects are there. Detecting faces from an image, location of the face within the image, what kind of face it is, like male or female or age, that one. Image metadata, color, type analysis, like of different like size, dominant color palette, or even content clipper, that kind. Category identification, like identifying an appropriate category for the image and if it contains any kind of celebrity or not, or if it is celebrity, it's a Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or someone like that or not. Brand detection, if there is any brand logo like Pepsi or like Coca-Cola or something like that. Moderating rating, like determining if the image includes any kind of like nudity or adult content. So if you have designed an application for kids, so like, and to search kind of like a website or image or something like that, so as it is for underage people, they are not allowed to see those kind of adult content. So you can use moderating like rating, so that before rendering the image, it will pass through moderating rating to identify its adult content or not, and it will be rendered or not. There is optical character recognition for both text and also handwritten. It falls under that category. And also the third one, last one, is smart thumbnail. So instead of creeping the full image, creating a small thumbnail. So you can see from the right, you can easily uploading the image to our cognitive service. You can identify mountain, where the metadata are like what is the format type, size of the image. You can create a small thumbnail. You can create some kind of like text or caption, or what is showing in the image, or all the tags. So I have already talked a bit about this contribution video analytics analyzer. So I will just like show like a bit more, talk a bit more with this screenshot. So about this. So within this like video analyzer, there are facial recognition, like detecting the presence of individual people in the image, so that you can get a full list how many people were there, and you can get a like a full from the bar where how most of the people were there. You can also click and find out all the individuals. You can get optical character recognition from video. If there are text within the video, it will be converted into text as well, from image to video or video to text. Speech transcription, creating a text transcript of spoken dialogue. So if it is in English or French or Japanese, you will see like a speech transcription in the bottom. Sometimes we see different kind of like video movies of other countries. We can use this kind of like application or AI to make those subtitle. You can also identify the key topics discussed in this video. It is mostly from the speech conversation, like conversation. You can identify sentiment of how positive, negative this individual video is. And also you can, I believe, find out sentiment of segment specific or like of a different timestamp. You can label tag the identify key object or theme throughout the video. If there is any mountain or any specific office or brand or logo, that kind of thing. You can do content moderation, again, the similar kind, nudity or adult content is there or not. You can also do scene segmentation, a breakdown of the video into its constituent scenes. So individual scene, what it is trying to say, what it is describing, you can get like a full report of that one. And for contribution and like solutions, as I said, there is all those APIs or CV APIs, where you can just upload the image. You can get facial information, gender, and everything. You can also like use custom vision tool. It is a tool to train an inference model. So suppose there are cases where the cognitive service is not enough for you. You will have to train your own model to detect it is like Tesla or Toyota, something like that. Example. So you will collect your own
No.
images or videos. You will collect your own images and you will upload those images to custom vision tool, and you will have to tag them as single label or multi label with multi classes to train AI model very easily without writing any code, so that you can use that AI model in production as inferencing model, so that it can detect whether it's a Tesla car or a Toyota car. For object detection, training, and inferencing, it can detect multiple types of object from a single image. That is another option. And you can use both SDKs and REST API to use it. And for custom vision, you can use the portal to create all those individual tagging, uploading, hierarchy, and everything. For computer vision services, there are detecting the face from the image, detecting the age and the gender falls under computer vision service. And the face service, which is separate, it tells you if you upload a photo with a face, the emotion of that face, what is the head pose, the recognition, the features like you are smiling or not, you have glass or not, you have long hair or short hair, you have any facial hair like beard or not, so something like that. And also verification, like you can like upload two images and like try to verify whether these two images are the same image or not, something like that. Using facial recognition, you can like service, you can also create some kind of application for your organization where you can upload all the individual people's photos as a person group. And then within this person group there will be a person, me as a person individual, my own class, and then there will be persistent images of all those individuals, so that whenever someone is trying to get into the office with the webcam, it can just like take a photo and it matches. Okay, this new photo matches with the first all the persistent images of this person, which is a part of this person group, so that they can get inside. Or sometime I'm a part of a person group, but not this one, so I cannot get into this office. I'll have to go somewhere else. And one of the things that Microsoft maintains very strictly for Azure Cloud Service, which is data privacy, security, transparency, fairness, and inclusiveness. All the data that we upload, they are not stored within any kind of like Microsoft ecosystem. It is kind of like one-time use. You just upload it to like send the request, get the response. That's it. The data is secured. Your data is not stored anywhere. Microsoft is not using your data to retrain their model. That is a big concern by a lot of organizations, but it is nicely maintained and monitored as well. And the transparency, because we hear a lot of rumors or like bad stories about those facial recognition models where it is like unable to detect people with a different color, different ethnicity. So Microsoft is very transparent, for that as well, and it is always following fairness and inclusive approach. So now the question and answer again. It is based on computer vision now. What is the effect of the smart cropping option when using the computer vision to generate a thumbnail? So uh, instead of like just uploading the image, you can also use smart cropping to select the proper like the actual the size, the type, how the thumbnail will be, or how you want the thumbnail to be. So there are three options. One is the aspect ratio of the original image is maintained. The thumbnail is skewed to fit the specified proportion, or the region of interest is centered in the thumbnail. So when we generate thumbnail, we always need to bring the region of interest and focus on the region of interest, which is ROI. And it is always better to have the ROI in the center, so that when you create the small thumbnail, the ROI shows in the face of the user very nicely. So the answer is number 3. So the next question is, you want video analyzer for media to analyze a video. What must you do first? Okay. Use the computer vision service to extract keyframes from the video. Upload the video to video analyzer for media and index it, or store the video file in an Azure blob storage container. So I got a lot of like some people said Azure blob storage, some people said one, some people say two. Okay, the answer is upload the video to a video analyzer for media and indexing. So you can also ask why not a blob storage? Yes, you can store the blobs like a video to blob storage, but again after that you will have to send the blob storage link or like reference to the video analyzer. Instead of that, there is option where you can directly upload the video to video analyzer. Boom, it's done. Everything is taken care of all like by the video analyzer after that. Then the next question is, you want to train a AI model, a model that can categorize an image as, categorize an image as a cat or dog based on its subject. So what kind of custom vision project should you create? Image classifier, image classification, multi-class, image
Object
classification,
detection.
multi-level, or object detection. But here, what you're doing is doing either it's a cat or dog. So do you guys think it's a classification, multi-class? So the room is divided between 1 and 3, multi-class or object detection. Let's see. The answer is classification. So here we are just telling cat and dog. If the test was identify the cat object or cat face object within the image, then it would have been like the object detection. Here we are just classifying the image as a cat or dog. The next one is, what does an object detection model predict? Okay, the location and class of specific classes of object in an image, the class of the main subject of an image, or the file type of an image. I'm getting answers like number one. So yes, the location and class of specific classes of object in an image. That's beautiful actually. So I put 12 tests so that you guys get the vibe, what kind of questions you can expect. Obviously, I didn't put too much complex questions. You can also expect some of the source code or like a snapshot of source code, how to use it, how to call it, how to use those cognitive services. Oh, there is another one I forgot even. I thought that was the last one. You need to create a facial recognition solution to identify named employees. Uh, which service should you use? Computer vision, custom vision, face. This should be confusing for a lot of people. Okay, one, two, three. Everyone is saying all of them, but most of them are one. It is actually face because you are doing facial recognition. You are creating first face group and the person group, and then person as an object, and then creating all the images for individual person. So it is that hierarchy is maintained and recognized within the face service. So yeah, as we are more than 1 hour of this session, there are few learning resources I will suggest you, so that it will be easier for you. There are few lab tutorials as well. I have seen a lot of YouTube videos, but this individual channel, I really liked it because they have 8 or 10 labs, very small, specific, just like the way you need. Just go through them. Like if you have already attended my video of AI-100, take a look at AI-900. Take a look at AI-900 content. Go through AI-103 training resource by Microsoft and attend this lab tutorial, or just look at those YouTube videos, 10 or 12. That's it. Within a day or two, you should be ready to pass AI-102 exam. And that's it from my side. If anyone has any question, feel free to ask. I would love to answer. And I'm just checking the okay. If anyone has any question, just ask me, because I can see the chat box was like history was pretty long. So even if anyone asked any question, I have already missed them. So yeah. Otherwise, that's it. That's the end of my talk. I hope you guys liked it and it was useful. And I hope I have best wishes for everyone. Hopefully, everyone will pass the exam and just gives us a thumbs up once you pass it. We'll be really happy.